You all have to understand that what we do at Crossroads would never, ever be possible without you. We may get the accolades from everybody who says, oh, you do such a wonderful job, but what they don't realize is that we are the recipients of your gifts, using the talents that God has given to us to be the hands and feet, but you make it possible, and you have to know that. There are children alive today because of what you do. In Michigan, we're getting more and more people coming to us. I was looking at numbers. From 2021 to 2022, the number of people we saw, the number of services we provided went up 15%. 15% in 1 year. Don't you wish the stock market could do that? And then I started looking at this year. In the first 2 months of this year, our numbers are up 36%. God is bringing people to us, and we need to help them. And you all know what that means. This doesn't happen for free. We're seeing, last year, 2022, we saw 3,200 appointments. 3,200 people came for services. We're seeing more than 300 every month. 300. We need you more than we ever have before. We really do. And you have to know how much we appreciate you. I know you all know we live in Michigan. Sometimes we try to forget it, but I know that you know we do. Michigan used to be one of the top 3 pro-life states in the country. We are now one of the top 3 abortion states in the country. We cannot give up. We need you more than we have ever needed you. This is a fight that is going to go on. Now, I've got good news and bad news. The good news, I've read the end of the book. We win. The bad news is it's really ugly. So buckle up. Be prepared. And keep praying for us. We have to stop the killing of children made in the image of God. We have to stop it. And prayer is our best resource. We have to defend the defenseless. That's what God has called us to do. Okay. It is really a pleasure now. So we have a staff member that used to be a receptionist, and she was okay at it. And she was better than mediocre. And so for some unknown reason, I thought, she'd make a good staff member. So I asked her if she would like to be the development director. And we were talking, and I said, so why do you want to be the development director? You know what she said? I don't. I don't want to be the development director. I don't even want to work here. I hired her on the spot. Anybody that is that honest, you got to take advantage of it. So Alex became the development director. She's the one that makes this possible. She's the one that puts on the banquet. She's the one that went back up to her room after we had lunch and had 160 people here and reorganized for all the people that canceled and all the people that still wanted to come, and she's still moderately sane. Okay, Alex, come on, start walking up here. One other thing you have to know about Alex is she hates public speaking. So she's next. This is Alex Peterson, who's sauntering up here. And you can thank her in the Royal Park for everything that happened here tonight and happens.
Hi, everybody. He is exactly correct. I do not like speaking in front of people. So that is why I like the behind the scenes stuff. But tonight I have the pleasure of introducing two wonderful testimonials we have for you this evening. Our first video, Melissa mentions visiting another clinic before coming to Crossroads. I'm not sure she thought she shouldn't say it or didn't want to say it, but that clinic was an abortion clinic. So we're going to take a listen to Melissa.
So I actually found Crossroads through a Google search. I listed a few different places that I was going to go to when deciding my decision. And this was the second place I went to. I went to a clinic and they kind of just pushed me through the process out. They were already trying to make me make an appointment and how much it was going to be. No one really talked to me how I was feeling or if I was even ready to go through the process. I felt very rushed. Nobody stopped to ask me how I was doing. So just telling me, you have to do this now. You only have a certain time frame. And I felt really pressured. I couldn't. It's a very big decision to make it when at the end of the appointment, when they were trying to make me make that appointment, I just was kind of avoiding it. I just kind of told them what they needed to hear so that I could get out of there because I didn't think that was for me. And I wanted to look for somewhere else. And when I came to Crossroads, just when they first just started asking me, the first thing they do is ask me how I'm doing. And I feel like they actually did care here. When I even saw the ultrasound tech, it was a very personal experience. They asked me my story, why was I deciding this, what if I had any doubts, and I did. And so I did tell them, I have doubts, I'm not sure if I want to go through with this. And I think it was Tracy that she showed me a video of the process of that, and I couldn't believe how nobody showed how difficult it was. They always said it was something quick and easy that you just forget, something like pulling a tooth. So I'm really glad that I came here and was able to see that process, because I would never gone through with it at all, and I would have regretted it deeply. Really, as I was leaving, she told me that we're here for you, Melissa. And I always think about that, because it was such an important moment in my life. And just helping with clothes and diapers, I would have never been able to be in the position I'm at right now. I'm actually a lot better than I used to be. Well, because of Crossroads, I've become a better mother to my children. I'm able to provide everything they need, and the people that are here working, they're so genuine and caring. Every single counselor I've met here has been, I don't even know how to explain it. They've all made an impact in my life. Every single person has brought different sides of their stories to me and have given me advice that I use day to day. Well, honestly, I would recommend coming to Crossroads. I will recommend it, honestly, if anyone ever asks me, because I feel like you should explore your options, that there are people that will support you and you're not alone.
The words that meant the most to Melissa was, "We're here for you." She wouldn't have been able to hear those words from Tracy without all of you. So our next video, you might as well get your Kleenex out. I'll tell you that right now. We hear from Melissa, who's currently a client, and Linda, who's a client advocate, who is also her grandmother. And they're going to tell her story.
So when I found out I was pregnant, I found out I was 8 months pregnant on October 19th, 2022. I went in for a doctor's appointment for some constipation issues I was having. We're kind of just running through like, what's your diet? What do you eat? And, everything was normal. And then she had me lay down and she was feeling on my stomach and she realized that it was my uterus that was so hard and not my stomach. And then she pulled me aside and outside the room and asked when the last time I was sexually active, and I said 9 months ago. And that's when she realized that we needed to get a pregnancy test. And I had spotting throughout my pregnancy, so I was so far into denial that I just didn't believe that I was pregnant for the longest time. And after that happened, we had an ultrasound the next morning, and I was so terrified because I didn't know if the baby was healthy. Like, I was still in so much denial that morning, and we go to the ultrasound. We find out that it's a boy, and he was completely healthy, and it was like seeing the face of God when I saw him on the ultrasound the first time, after that, we did all the tests that you're supposed to get done during your whole pregnancy in a day, and I went into panic mode because they were like, you could go into labor right now. So when I told the dad that I was 8 months pregnant, he was in denial too because it's such a shock. So, and he lives across state, so that was another thing, and so that's when I had felt pressured not to keep Grayson. And I told him there's no way I'm getting rid of him. He's perfectly healthy. Even if something was wrong, I would keep him no matter what. I believe that everybody's fearfully and wonderfully made no matter what your circumstances are. That day and the next day was so emotionally traumatizing, just about, because I went from like such an independent college student who was living on campus, going from that lifestyle to literally packing up my whole entire life back home to raise a baby in 3 weeks. It was so overwhelming. It was literally only by God's strength that I could get through that. Then that's when I was like, okay, we need to go tell my grandma and my family.
So I've been a counselor at Crossroads for 7 years this month. And I came here because I taught high school biology and anatomy. And I had a heart for the students that really didn't know where they stood as far as life is concerned. And really, before I retired, I just had it in my heart that I was going to volunteer at a pregnancy center. I've worked with clients, women in all situations. Women who find themselves with an unplanned pregnancy, women who have several children already and are going to have another one, in a divorce situation, whatever situation I walk into. Some of them are pretty hard and some of them aren't so hard. But on those hard ones, it's God, it's the Holy Spirit that gives me the words to speak, the words of comfort, the words so that they can see Jesus. One day, about 3 months ago, I got a text from my granddaughter, Alyssa, and she said, hey, can I come by? Are you and Papa? That's what she calls my husband. Are you going to be home? Sure. There's nothing unusual for her to want to stop by and see us. So we're like, great. So they came in and we all sat down at the dining room table. And right away the tears came and she told us that she was pregnant. Well, we didn't wait for anything else. My husband and I, Dennis and I, jumped up from our chair. He got to her first and we just smothered her in hugs and love, and we said, it's a baby and it's okay, it's gonna be okay. And then she said, I'm 8 months pregnant. And that took us back a lot. I was like, how can that be? And then she showed us the ultrasound. Oh my, there was this baby. I mean, he could have been born right then. I was looking at a full-term baby.
When I had told her and my grandpa both started crying and just started loving on me, just letting me know that everything was going to be okay. I got their support right away, and then I think it was the next day she introduced me to Crossroads, and then they were able to get me an appointment here like a week later almost, and then I got introduced me to the program and was so, everyone treated me with such support and love and open arms, and I was able to receive diapers and wipes and clothes and baby bathtub and everything that I needed within a week. So, and gave me a lot of hope and encouragement.
I got to read something to her. I never thought I would read it to my granddaughter, but I've read this to a lot of clients. In fact, just about every client that I have, if they come in and they've found out that they're having a baby, I read this to them. Because Alyssa really was dealing with a situation where she had not realized she was pregnant. Nobody knew, didn't know how this baby was doing, but somebody knew. So I read to her these well-known verses from Psalm 139. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance, and in your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. The day she was giving birth was a day that I was coming in as a counselor. So I came on in, and we had the prayer team here meeting in the room. And I went into them and I said, hey, I've got a big prayer request for you. And they prayed over you that day. Oh, how does that make me feel that Crossroads can help her? It's awesome because I know what it means to the women that I meet with, and the peace that it can bring them, that there is someplace they can turn to, that you're not alone in the situation.
When I realized Crossroads could help me, it felt like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders, and the peace of God was truly overcoming me, and I was overwhelmed with peace and comfort. My words to all the donors would be thank you so much. I don't know how I would have navigated finding out I was pregnant so late without Crossroads. I don't know where I would be, and especially now, especially talking to a counselor who's been in a similar situation that I'm in right now, and especially all the resources that I've been able to receive too as well, that has really helped my family and I during finding out so late, and was able to literally get all the resources that I needed. It has been the biggest blessing that I thank God for every day.
When I tell people about Crossroads, I tell them that this place doesn't just happen, that there are individuals and churches that lovingly want to support life, and they make all of this happen. When I tell people about the services that we offer, they're, how do you do that? I said, people that love the Lord, love Crossroads, care about life, they donate. If it were not for the donors out there, Crossroads wouldn't be here. Wouldn't be here.
Without you volunteering at Crossroads, I would not have known about Crossroads, and I would have met my wonderful counselor. And yeah, I just want to say thank you.
Alyssa, Linda, do you want to stand? Thank you. Thank you for having a love for life. Thank you for being on Habitat. She couldn't be helped without all of you guys. So that concludes it. We're done. Just kidding. We have good stuff coming. It is my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Catherine Stark, who is our medical director. So,
thank you, Alex, and thanks to everybody who braved the storm to come out tonight. Tim told me I have only about 5 minutes to give you an update on our ongoing medical services at Crossroads, so I'll be brief, or maybe I'll just talk faster. I don't. But if you came to the banquet last year, you might recall that we had just opened our early prenatal care clinic. As part of our mission to help women choose life, we sought to provide access to early prenatal care at no cost for uninsured and underinsured women who are abortion vulnerable. You know, we know that along with fear and poverty, lack of social support, the limited access to prenatal care for women without resources or insurance is another driving factor in them choosing to end their pregnancy. After much discernment and by the grace of God, fueled by your generous donations in the past, our board of directors and our staff at Crossroads agreed that expanding our medical services would be our next big thing last year. And the early prenatal care clinic was born. I'm happy and excited to tell you that our clinic has had a tremendous impact over the lives of our patients and their babies this past year. Just to explain what we're doing, an early prenatal visit, the first visit a woman would usually have at the beginning of her pregnancy, is a detailed history and physical examination. We do laboratory studies, we do an ultrasound, and we do a lot of counseling and education of the woman about what to expect, what's normal, what's not normal. And we really can alleviate a lot of her fear and anxiety just by giving her some information. And the other thing we can do is have an impact on the baby too by improving her health and addressing any risk factors. That really helps her child as well. So double benefit there. And when we do this, we see a sense of reassurance in the mom. We answer her questions. We let her see how much we care about her. And for us, the staff, what a wonderful opportunity to be the hands and heart of Jesus as we share God's love and mercy with a sister in need. Several of our patients have had their babies at this point, and whether they decided to parent or they put their child up for adoption, all of them have expressed gratitude for the care we gave them at a critical time. And your donations, again, made that possible. As word has spread about our clinic, the number of patients we're seeing is steadily increasing. We want to help as many as we can, but we will need even more resources to do so. If this is God's will for us, we know that He will provide what we need to expand our space, our staff, and our hours of operating and our budget. So that's our early prenatal care clinic. We provide that with no charge to the patient. The other services in our medical part of our services include the free ultrasounds, limited prenatal ultrasound. We've been doing that over 20 years now. That mission continues to grow as well. We've added a second PA. We have Alyssa who joined us this year, and we're doing more and more ultrasounds every month. Again, that needs more resources. The other things I oversee in the medical department at Crossroads are our abortion pill reversal program. Maybe some of you know, maybe some of you don't know, but when women do a medical abortion and take the first abortion pill, if they have a change of heart, feel immediate regret, there is an antidote, there is an option for them to reverse the effect of that first abortion pill. And we are one of the centers, and I'm one of the physicians who helps prescribe this antidote. It's just a natural hormone called progesterone. And it works not 100% of the time. We're not always successful, but God willing, we will be. In about 2 out of 3 at this point. And to date, we've had over 4,000 children saved from the abortion pill with this method. A couple of other services kind of fall under my purview, and one is our post-abortion care program, where we can see women who've done an abortion by mail and want to have a checkup. A lot of them now can order the abortion pill without seeing a doctor, and then if they have a problem, they're left with no doctor. But we're willing to see those women and help them recover, both physically and emotionally and spiritually from their decision. We continue to do STI and STD treatment as well, and that program's going well. So to summarize, 2022 was a big year for the pro-life movement. When the Supreme Court ruled in the Dobbs case and overturned the Roe decision after almost 50 years, the battleground shifted, but the fight is not over. Proposal 3 unfortunately passed in Michigan last November, legalizing unrestricted abortion up through the 9th month of pregnancy. And the abortion industry's targeting of pro-life pregnancy centers has intensified. You may have heard some of the ugly accusations facing us in the press by the abortion supporters. They are criticizing pregnancy centers such as ours. They're calling us fake clinics. They level this accusation against us for 2 reasons. Number 1, we do not do abortion or refer for abortion. And number 2, by providing women with accurate information about all of their options, and if we offer them support that they need to carry their child, they many times don't choose abortion, and they don't like that. Let me be clear. There's nothing fake about Crossroads Care Center. I'm a real doctor. I'm a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist, as well as the rest of our medical team. They're licensed physician assistants, registered nurses, all of us in good standing with the state of Michigan, and we seek to provide the highest quality that we can of care to our patients. Unlike abortion providers, we do not profit from a woman's decision, no matter what she chooses to do, and we provide all of our services at no charge. So thank you for your donations and making all of this possible. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker tonight, Dr. John Bruchalski. Dr. Bruchalski is a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist from the state of Virginia. He's also, similar to me, a passionate pro-life OB-GYN. I've come to know him well over the past year. We have many experiences in common, and we have mutual friends in the pro-life circles in the United States. You could say we travel in the same circle. John has faced the same dilemma that many Christian healthcare providers face. How do we fulfill our calling to care for our patients with love and compassion as Christ would, and still get along or go along within a medical establishment that has stopped recognizing the dignity and value of every human life? As Christians, we know that God is our creator, the source of all life, even, and maybe especially, for the disabled, the poor, the forgotten, or least recognized among us. We're all here for a specific purpose, and no matter what our skill set is, we're here for because God willed it, and here we are. And just because our medical technology can destroy an unwanted human being, that doesn't mean we must go along quietly. I heard a comparison, and I like to share this with you. Only a living fish can swim against the current and go upstream. Dead fish just go with the flow and go downstream. Thank you, John, for swimming against the cultural current and showing others the way.
It is very exciting to be here. I'm overwhelmed, actually. Sitting at the table with Alyssa and her grandma is truly a blessing in my life, alongside actually an ER doctor and another staff person at Crossroads and Dr. Kathy. I have been thinking about this night for over a year, David B. Wright called me right afterwards and said, Johnny, you've got to check these people out. This was last year. And I come here tonight to encourage and to learn from you all. Crossroads doesn't happen on its own. Inside and outside of this place, it is only through the grace of God and the love of neighbor. That's what makes this place go. That's what brings us here tonight. And some of the things I have to talk about tonight are pretty hard, because I'm going to get to the point because of the weather. There's two things I want to talk about: living not by lies, and that nothing in life is a coincidence. Nothing. And so I just want to thank you for your prayers. It was groups of pro-life folks across the country who prayed for people like me when, during the first 2 years of my residency, I performed abortions. Now, I grew up Bible strong. I'm Polish. I wanted to be the best OBGYN I could be. I'm 62 years of age. It was women like you and you and you and you. You were living books. You taught me when I was a teenager. I had a knack for hanging around women, and they talked, and I listened, and I learned a lot. God also had something to do with that. He has a sense of humor, giving me a testicular tumor that gave me a positive pregnancy test. And then my wife would constantly, as we got to be mature, she would substitute the slow-acting niacin for the rapid-acting niacin, and I developed hot flashes. Carolyn could not be here tonight. But it was prayers like you and the prayers of my folks, my mom and dad, and the grandparents that went before them, that prayed for my sorry butt. Because I told my parents with a little sneer, yes, I'm doing abortions. I've moved into the 21st century. Abortion is essential health care, Mom and Dad. And they looked at me with eyes that were filled with sadness. Never regret. The tears welled up. I did that. Left to my own devices, I'm a goofball without Jesus Christ, without friends like you. You've prayed for me. And I've been sick most of my adult life. In November of last year, I developed a complete heart block. Heart rate was 15 to 20. And once again, the fourth time in my life, I was heading towards the light. There was a woman from Medtronics who built my pacemaker in the luncheon today. I'm connected to Detroit, to this place. My father's third cousin, twice removed, was Al Kaline's family member. Al, wherever you are tonight, be with us. He was pro-life. You all live in a state that is dark. I was here in the fall, just before Prop 3 passed. And I live outside the heart of darkness, Washington, D.C. It brings us together. You know, some people joke and say misery loves company. No, joy is attractive. I've met Kathy for a year now. She is a competent, professional, compassionate, caring physician, an OBGYN. You have all the parts here at Crossroads, in here at Auburn Hills and Rochester, to do what we did in Northern Virginia. We're just coming at it from two different points of view. So where I was a medical practice, because of my relationship with my abortion training, at the same time I was worshiping at a evangelical church. And I was at a pregnancy center at night volunteering. But I didn't tell them I did abortions because I'm a weasel. I became a people pleaser rather than someone who feared the Lord. My parents taught me well. And little by little, through education, drips and drabs, I said, see you later. And even despite all the signs the Lord gave me in my life, my heart got hardened and hardened and hardened. Because at the time, some of the ones I did, and once again, I want you to know that Jesus Christ's mercy is from age to age, and it's forever. It's all within Psalm 139, Psalm 100. If today you hear his heart, harden not your hearts as they did at Meribah. This battle rages, and it's the battle for the enemy hates us. And it's the power of prayer and the power of community that we have found that medicine becomes an act of mercy, like housing the homeless or clothing the naked. We were a for-profit practice, but I'm going to get to that in just 1 minute. So here I am in residency, and this is the part about living not by lies, and that life is not full of coincidences. But as a wise ER doctor who's married to a wonderful woman, it's a God incidence. So here I am, aborting little peanuts, plums, and 4-pound fetuses. In every way that you can imagine. My heart is getting harder. The data is coming in about abortion and breast cancer, abortion and preterm labor, abortion and mental illness. My heart's getting harder, and I'm just moving further and further into the slop. Truly. Because they start you out doing little ones where there are no bones, and then you progress. Little by little, the frog gets boiled in the hot water slowly. So I'm driving, because this takes a toll on you, and I'm driving to the beach in Virginia Beach, Virginia, heading towards one of the naval bases, getting to the ocean, because that's where I found peace, in the water. So I'm driving and I see this, oh my God, what's this pregnancy resource center? That's amazing. That's like what I do. I'm going to pull in. So I stop in and I walk in, and it's probably 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, and there they are holding hands from the first, from First Assembly. Dear Daddy, thank you so much for letting these people come in here today. You're going to bring them in. You're going to take them out. We're going to show the love of Jesus to them, Lord, no matter how we do it, whether it's through services. This was before it was medicalized. And Daddy, we just praise you and thank you today, and this is a blessing to be here. And all of a sudden, I was hooked. I didn't go to the beach. Their joy attracted me. Thank you, Jesus. Absolutely, brother. And so what happens is that I don't tell them. Now I'm schizophrenic. Like, it's splitting me. What? What's this? I'm not talking here. But no, I talk to my parents. God love me. And so all of a sudden, I find myself a few days later on labor and delivery in one room, 2 rooms. I was busy that night. We had done 11, 12 deliveries. In one room, I had a mom who wanted her baby, so I was whispering in her ear, it's okay, Jenny. We're going to get you through this. We're there. It's okay. We're going to give you the medicine. We're going to tilt the bed. We're going to use gravity. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to give you some antibiotics. I think you can make it. The baby was 23 weeks of age. Back then, the limit of viability was 26 to 27 weeks. For the last 50 years, we've come a long way in medicine. I now give talks that for 30 years in my practice, Tepeyac, OBGYN in Fairfax, we've never had to do an abortion to save the life of the mother. Ever. Zero. I just wrote something in a Federalist mag. It's kind of getting busy. Why? Because life of the mother was a political exception. We now have such good medicine that we can care for both mom and baby. Always care for the mom because they're a team. They're close. That lining, the knit-a-book layer between placenta and mom is intimate. So I go back. In one room, we're saving this baby at 23 weeks. The very next room, in a wall that's as big as the wall there, it's like walking through that door. 23 weeks, early labor, I don't want it, get rid of it. Broke her water, gave her medicine, and blew the baby out. Remember, we are at a point in time, folks, that words don't matter, words have no meaning. When I say mercy, because I work now at Divine Mercy Care, that's where I'm president of, mercy killing. I was talking about with the same wonderful ER doctor. At my medical school, we had Patch Adams come and give us a talk. He had Jack Kevorkian. This is where we're at. Words no longer matter and logic no longer matters. And keep your darn religion out of medicine. Science becomes your God. Data becomes your dogma. And it's all politically driven in the abortion on demand world. It's political. And now what's happening is that there's more and more. We're going around inspiring young physicians. We'll get to that in a minute. So here I am in the other room. I blow the baby out, but I'm still a good doctor. Am I? Was I? Lord, I have nowhere else to go. I pick up the child, which was a fetus. It's making noise. It's squeaking. And the first thought in my mind was complete the abortion, suffocate it, because you want to be merciful. It's merciful to not put the mom through more trauma. And for all of us here who have suffered abortion trauma, I understand, my heart goes out. And it's only the mercy of Jesus Christ that is truly penetrates us to the depth of our being. And that's what that Psalm 139, all the Psalms, they were written to be said at night when I still suffer my PTSD. But with Jesus Christ, it's no longer about being shamed. It's just about being sad that I could not love like he loves us, that he challenges us to live. So, nope, it feels a little heavy, so I throw it on the scale. Now, in Virginia at the time, 1989, 500 grams, 1.1 pounds. If it's over that, you got to call the neonatal intensive care unit, people. There's somebody here tonight. Where are you? Raise your hand. I throw this kid like by the head on the scale. 505 grams. Since I still had something of a conscience, what my parents were trying to give me, the truth of Jesus Christ, I hit the button. And in runs the neonatology team. Now, I'm trying to tend to my patient, making sure she's not bleeding. In walks Dr. Debbie, an incredibly brilliant neonatologist. She takes one look at what was going on and she goes, "Hey, Bruchalski, stop treating my patients as tumors. And oh, by the way, you're better than this. And oh, by the way, have a cup of coffee with me tomorrow." Discipleship 101. Data's coming in. My heart is getting hard, and I'm doing more and more unspeakable things because it's dark and we don't talk about abortion because it's in the shadows. We don't brag. Yes, yell your abortions. We used to. You're going to be fine. Oh yes, we're going to have an abortion and you can go back to your work or go back to your family and it's okay. You'll be the same person, just without the problem of the sexually transmitted. Wait a second. We're never the same. Any one of us who are post-abortal, including myself, you're forever changed. And that's when the healing presence of Jesus Christ, all things work to the good to those who call him are called according to his purpose, right? Romans 8:28. Real line. His promise is real. All of his promises are real. And the thing is that we've been lied to by men, because I see women all the time, so I'm much more on the feminine side of this. You men, man, come on now. Stand up. Do the right thing. And so, over coffee, she says, you're better than this. They stand in lines outside of your clinic. You're really good at what you do. Without a doubt, young man, you need to allow Jesus Christ to touch you. I said, yeah, I'm not there yet, maybe, who knows. I walked away again. 2 days later, my mom calls up and says, hey, do you want to come with me? There, she said the same thing. Let Jesus Christ touch you. In my prayer, in a moment, he allowed me to put my hand through his side to touch his beating heart. In my prayer. And for the first time in my life, I was beloved. And I was different. You collapse because you're a man of unclean lips, and you're not, leave me, Lord, because I'm not worthy. And he's smiling and just love. Come on, man. Come on, Johnny. Johnny, do you love me? Yes, I do. Fall on the ground, scales come off my eyes, the leprosy wounds heal by his touch, by his gaze, by his love. The word of God becomes alive all of a sudden. Johnny, if you want to practice excellent medicine and help the Spirit renew the face of the earth, be excellent, see the underserved alongside the served, and follow my word and my church. That was it. Came off the hill totally different. 2 years of residency. They made me academic chief resident. But don't tell anybody, because I had to go back and tell my professors, I don't do this anymore. I found a better way. Oh no, you found Jesus, she said. This world famous in vitro fertilization physician. We were the home of the first test tube baby in this country. And so here I was, 2 years later, get married to my wonderful wife, Carolyn, and we start Tepeyac OBGYN in our basement, on our couch, because I had nowhere else to go. Money was running out. I was delaying the inevitable. Carolyn's like, hey, our prayer, Jesus is, come on, don't you trust him, Johnny? As soon as she said it, it pierced me again. And I said, sure, let's do this. Today, we deliver 5,000 to 6,000 babies a year. There are two full-time doctors, 4 part-time physicians. We're physician heavy. We have 2 wonderful midwives. We have some mid-levels. We run 2 ultrasounds. We partner with 30 regional pregnancy centers because we're a medical practice. And I know about how they talk about fake clinics. We actually went nonprofit because we're the last almshouse in America today, jokingly. We actually raise money within our community to care for the least of who lives in our community. And what I'm seeing is what Crossroads has been doing. They've been doing this for 39 years? We've been in business 29 years. We have street credibility because of Jesus Christ, and his love is what empowers this. That's what's going on here. It's love. Because when words no longer matter and logic no longer matters, the only thing you can do is love someone as a witness. That's what makes a difference today. And I know this as a Polish kid because my family has been hurt through the Nazis and through the communists and through the materialistic capitalists. When you begin to lose your mooring to your relationship with Jesus Christ, it becomes a problem. Because in our medicine is mercy, health is relational. Every single one of you volunteers and incredible folks at Crossroads, you get it. Health is relational. The young women on the tapes, you gave me time. You didn't rush me. We do something called perinatal hospice. When a mom comes in with a baby that is totally not going to live very long outside the womb, very, very sick, we use your womb as a hospice to maximize the time with your child. And by doing that, you bring healing as you walk with people through the pain. Mercy is not getting rid of it, it's actually walking through it with them. It's what compassion is, alongside people. And I've done them both ways. Perinatal hospice is one of the most incredible ways to show folks practically the difference between abortion on demand, my body, my choice, versus my body given up for you. Totally, radically different. And then you begin to do other things in this practice. And all I can tell you, and I'm going to end with this, is that you have, I've known Kathy now for almost a year. We've become friends. It's like the book of Acts. They're sending us out 2 by 2 again. This is the book of Acts. It's advancement through opposition. I spent one long day getting to know Tim Stickle. He is as much a part of this. He's amazing. Johnny, don't worry about it. You guys came here tonight because even through the dang snow. No, we can't make it. We can't make it. No, Johnny, the Lord knows what he's doing. That's right, Tim. Thank you for becoming my friend and busting my chops at the same time. I have some Italian uncles outside of New York City that would love to help me out here. So listen, I'm going to end here. It's time to get up off our backsides. I testified just a few weeks ago on the Pain Capable Act in Virginia. And I said, as a grandfather, I would want my grandson or granddaughter to get anesthesia. If you're going to do something that's that painful to someone, and we now know through science that that is true, please anesthetize the baby. Well, after our testimony, up came the American College of OBGYN testimony. She was angry beyond belief. She was almost shaking. This is just nonsense. I represent ACOG, and I am here to tell you that that is nonsense. And then after catching herself and then going to a few bizarre jokes that were kind of dark and satanic, she then turned around and looked at me. And I was prepared for this because when you are part of the American Association of Pro-Life OBGYNs and you occasionally have to engage people, she looked directly at me and said, "We now have the capacity to punish misinformation, disinformation, and we now have the capacity to take away licenses and livelihoods." Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You just kind of give a wave and you trust in the promises of Jesus Christ. Because you all can do this. We're a $3+ million business. You're about 1 million here. Please give generously to help them move this. Their data, their numbers are present here. And you're a light on a hill in the middle of a dark state. And they come from all over like they came to us in Virginia. And people give you awards because you don't take out fetuses. But you know what? There's a lot of medical students and residents and nurse practitioners and midwives out there that are looking for this. They are so tired and they're afraid right now because of what I just told you. Turn around. I was in Omaha, Nebraska, and I was in Colorado just recently, helping other places think through what are the gifts in your community? How can you do this better? Lo and behold, it's like the Kansas-Nebraska Act just before the Civil War, but it's the Colorado-Nebraska Act. Colorado, they murder babies even after delivery, but in Nebraska, they just passed a heartbeat bill. Each community has their own way of looking at things. It's the book of Acts. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to challenge you tonight. We're in a post-Roe world, and you all know it because you lived through Prop 3. You have the right people with 39 years of experience at this amazing place we call Crossroads. And Crossroads is at a crossroad. What do they do? How do they do this? Please help them do what they see and what you have been telling them they need to do. Please do it as generous as you can tonight. And thank you for welcoming a distant relative of Al Kaline back to the great state of Michigan.
Wow. Well, that was really, really great, John. Thank you. So when we're getting near the end of the program, I would like to just share a brief story with you about one of our clients, patients. I want you to see from my perspective what the value of what we're doing here and what we're investing in. So a woman I'll call Angela came to our center. She's had a pretty hard life. She already had 5 children with her husband, who was unfaithful to her and left her to support the family herself. She had struggled with postpartum depression after her last pregnancy, and lack of medical insurance and tight finances kept her from seeking treatment for herself. She was a good mother to her children, and she sacrificed her own needs to meet theirs. After a brief reunion with her ex-husband, she found herself pregnant. She didn't want to tell anyone, especially her family, and her ex told her to have an abortion. Despite her own personal moral conviction that abortion was wrong, she felt so alone and overwhelmed that she called an abortion clinic and scheduled an appointment. She planned to go while her kids were at school and not tell anybody. And as the day came, she was distraught, but she planned to keep the appointment. On the day of the procedure, one of her children were sick, and she had to stay home. The child had to stay home from school, so she didn't make her appointment. She did reschedule the appointment, however, and again on that day, something else came up, and she had to cancel it again. And when she scheduled and had to cancel a 3rd time, the abortion clinic receptionist scolded her, belittled her, and told her if she didn't come in, then she'd be too far along in her pregnancy for them to terminate it. She didn't have insurance, didn't have any support, and didn't know where to turn. By the grace of God, she found Crossroads when she searched online for free prenatal care. Our client advocate took her call, listened to her story, and discussed ways that we could help her. Because of your financial support and your prayers, we were able to provide her with an ultrasound to let her see her unborn baby. We gave her first prenatal visit with me, and the other center staff helped to address her immediate needs. We were able to have conversations with her about her options of parenting with our support or other support or adoption. She accepted our offer to pray with her as she discerned what she might do. Even our weekly prayer group included her in their intentional prayers. She no longer was seeking an abortion. Angela went on to deliver a beautiful, healthy baby boy. She sent us a photo along with her gratitude for the care we provided when she needed it the most. In the end, she decided to place her baby for adoption, which was a difficult decision, but she felt right for her. All of us are grateful that she chose life, and you, our supporters and prayer warriors, are the hero in this story, so thank you. I would ask that at this point we all contemplate what we can do. How can we show our love to abortion vulnerable women and their unborn children in our community? How can we help them overcome fear, anxiety, loneliness, feelings of abandonment, especially when our culture has so little regard for innocent human life? What gifts or talents have you been given that you can share with others? And as we wrap up our time together, let me explain the procedure we're going to go through with the donation envelopes. They're all on your table. I want to remind you again that we're going to have a prayer at the end, so please don't leave early if you can stay. We'd appreciate it. So on the table, there is an envelope with the number on it, and you guys can pick it up and distribute the forms inside, and the envelopes and pens are available. Now is your opportunity to partner with Crossroads to allow our center to help as many women as God brings to us for help. I want to remind you that in 2022, we had 15% more services than we did the prior year. And in the first 2 months of this year, as Tim said, our numbers are up 36%. Only God knows what our future demands will be, but we must be ready to answer his call. And I want to let you know that just to see one client in our prenatal care clinic covering the cost of the services we provide is about $250 to the center for every client. If you could support one client per month or even two, that would be fantastic and have a tremendous impact. Also want to bring your attention to the QR code. Some of you are tech savvy with your smartphones, and this makes donating really easy. If you want to do the QR code, they're also on all the tables on the numbers in the center. When you do the QR code, it saves you a few steps, but we'd still like you to fill out one of the forms, at least the top half, where you could evaluate the evening and give us your contact information in case we have trouble. So just write on the form that you donated by mail or by online, so we know. You don't have to then redo it on there. And if you are donating by the QR code, you can only do one donation at a time. And you may notice that on our form there are two opportunities to give. Both of them are important. One is a one-time donation for tonight. This is our major fundraiser of the year. This is where we really count on you for supporting the center for the year. But we also really would appreciate a monthly donation, no matter how large or small. So whatever you can give, we would appreciate it. And if you just fill it out, we're going to give you a few minutes here to take time to think about it and fill that out. And Tim will be right back up here in a couple minutes and close us out. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Please drive safely. We're going to do this again next year. We want you to come back. Next year, bring friends. Let's see if we can't double the attendance. Thank you all. God bless and good night.